place to go. We can run or we can take it slow. Won't you come with me, completely off topic? Mama said I never make it big. Well, mama, I don't really feel that way. Won't you come with me, completely off topic? Oh, ain't it nice to be completely off topic?
Hello and welcome back to Completely Off Topic with Susan and
Meg.
where we talk to Calgary-based female artists about them and their creation of their body of work. I'm so succinct. Today we have with us, oh, it's going to be good, Katherine Mandolidis, who is a beautiful dancer. And first question is, I know you just told me this, but how do you pronounce your last name?
You actually got it.
Did I?
Mandolidis.
Oh,
Just
nice.
You just went.
I just was
But
very...
you said it right. All the syllables were there.
I wasn't confident.
It's quite overwhelming. There's lots of
Mandolidis.
letters.
Mandolidis. Yeah.
Yeah. Greek.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Greek.
Greek.
And are you really tuned into your Greek culture?
I am actually.
Yeah?
Yeah. When I visited Greece, it was one of the first experiences I traveled and was like, this is home. There was like a familiarity in my body being in Greece.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I recently saw a comedian who performed here. His name's Rafi, and he's kind of out of New York. But my dad would send me his Instagram posts. Like, he'd be like, this guy's really funny. And so I took my dad as a Christmas present this year
cool.
to go see him because he was coming here. So I never really connected to the idea that people feel like they see themselves in other people. Because I've never really felt like I looked like anybody. And then he came and he performed. And as I'm watching him, I'm like, you are my Uncle Richard mixed with my cousin Simon and my cousin Steve. And as he moved and talked, I was like, oh, this is what people are talking about. I'm like, he's Brazilian.
Okay.
So Portuguese, but South American. And my dad
Right.
is from Guyana, which is South America, but it's Portuguese speaking. So I don't even feel like I'm Latino.
Right.
Right? Because I'm not Latino, but I am Latino because it's South America and South America's Latino, but it's not Spanish, it's Portuguese. So it's like, it finally kind of went, oh,
Right.
this is what people are talking about.
Right.
Because I was just like, I don't understand what you were even trying to say. And so that's how you felt. Did you feel like you looked like people?
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
I would speak the little bit of Greek that I know, like like just enough to get every Aya in Greece like a little excited, like Tiganis, and they're like, and I'm like, oh and they're like, why? You're Greek? Like it was just like, you're Greek?
Disgusted.
Yeah.
Why don't you speak our language?
Yeah.
You should. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, my dad's from Greece.
Yeah.
This is the why.
Yeah.
This is why.
And where's your mom from?
She's from here. Her family's from Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're halfy Greek.
Yeah, half Greek. So
Ah.
connected to it. I think it's just the culture, the way of life, how welcoming and hospitable Greeks are.
And the food.
We love food.
Oh, the food is so good.
You know, and we're loud, and we like to have big conversations, and so I think that side of me is just very connected to that heritage.
It's so funny because when I think about how I've known you, I don't see that very often at all. Because Katherine is a ballet dancer.
Oh.
We met. This is so funny to me because how well I know you now.
Right.
We met and I was choreographing for Encore Dance Collective. And I actually choreograph all different things. I never choreograph the same thing. Like I did hip hop one year, I did tap, like I do all this stuff. So this year I decided I was gonna do cello concerto and whatever. What was the song? It's Bach, I think it's Bach.
Bach.
And so it's like this beautiful cello piece that's basically in threes. It's and it's this, so I had three dancers, three ballet dancers, and I wanted them the same height.
Yeah.
And so we go to the audition, we do the audition, I'm watching, I pick up my three ballet dancers. One of them is Natalka Lewis. Do you know her?
Oh yeah, I know her. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of them is Natalka Lewis. So on our first rehearsal day, Natalka shows up with Michelle, who is Katherine. But in my head, she introduced her as Michelle.
Right.
So she's like, oh my God, I don't think I can do the dance. But I brought my friend who's amazing at ballet.
Yeah.
But she's not 5'9".
I'm
Right.
not 5'9".
How tall are you?
5'4".
5'4".
5'5" if I stand really tall, and my
yeah.
spine's been elongated.
Yes.
She's not 5'9".
I'm definitely not 5'9".
This was literally the most important thing to me. I wanted everybody to be interchangeable, to play this song as if it was one piece. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like my vision. So now I'm like sitting here meeting this beautiful dancer.
Yeah.
Who is she's learning the choreography, which is so awkward. Because I'm like, you can't be in the piece. But I'm not going to tell you right now because I don't have another person. But Natalka's just said she's not doing it. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much for coming. It's beautiful. Thank you for your time and energy. And I'm like, I felt so put on the spot and weirded out by it. But then at the same time, I'm like, so beautiful, but you can't be in the piece. So that was our intro to each other.
And, you know, I remember being gutted because it was such a beautiful piece. Like, I actually really enjoyed dancing it.
Yeah.
And then it was such an honest thing. Like, that's the industry. That is, as a dancer. Oh, you don't have the right height. You're not this. You're not that. Like,
your hair's brown.
Your hair's brown. It's like, I can dye
Your
it,
legs
but
are
not
long
for
enough.
not for today. No, sorry.
Yeah, you don't have a 6-pack of abs.
Like, never had the 6-pack abs. But yeah, it's part of the industry. So you're just like, okay, well, thank you for the rehearsal. Thanks for the free class.
Yeah.
You know? And, And then I was Michelle for a while.
So then she was in my piece the next year. And I thought her name was Michelle.
Right.
And when I lock in a name, it's done.
Yeah.
Like if I pronounce that's why I was like with her last name, I'm like, I'm never saying it out loud because then I will never be able to change it.
Right.
It will be stuck in there forever. So anyhow, that's how I am. So then you actually were you're always so lovely to work with because I'll be like, Michelle over here. And you'll be like, oh, that's me. And you'll just go. And she never would be like, my name's Catherine. Like, what the hell, dude? I'm not doing it's like youth of today would just be like, oh, I can't work with her. But you were just like, oh, she means Michelle Catherine.
Yeah, that's me.
And then I found out one day your name was Catherine, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
But then you were also like, why didn't you tell me? And I was like, there's no need.
It's the same.
Everyone knew who you were talking to, so like it's fine.
I'm a very dramatic choreographer. Everybody's trying to work with me, so they will just pretend their name's another name.
It's true. It was like, oh, I'm in Susan's piece.
Yes. Let me screw this up on stage to get back at her.
Nope.
No. And then you were a choreographer, and she would have me.
I did.
She had me in her pieces. Yeah. And this is post-children, where I have no memory anymore. So I would go to rehearsal, and I'd be like, I'm ready. And then she'd be like, let's do from this piece. And I'd be like, I'd look at Catherine Wilson.
Oh, yes.
Who I grew up dancing with.
Yeah.
And I'd look at her and be like, what's this section? What's this section? And she'd be like, I think it goes like this. And the two of us were just a mess. We couldn't remember a damn thing. We'd have to video it. And right before class, to be like, when did we do this?
Yeah.
And it's me dancing in the video.
Right.
You're like, well, my body does know.
Oh.
So I just have to get in somehow. And then my body will just take over.
Yeah.
And then I found out afterwards that actually when you have children, you're pregnant, there's a certain amount of fluids in your body, but when you have children, you actually lose 10% of the fluid in your brain or something like that. There's something chemical that happens to your brain, which is why your memory is not as good after you have children. Yes. We both have children, so we're not going to remember this at all by tomorrow.
So I don't even, who is this? How'd we get here?
We just did a segment together.
Yeah. What? I don't remember.
So you live in Bridgeland. How do you like Bridgeland?
Do. Love Bridgeland.
Did you grow up in Calgary?
I did. Yeah.
Which neighborhood?
Northwest Varsity area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Northwest
By the
Quadrant.
mall.
By the mall. By Market Mall.
Did you hang out in the mall all the time?
I was kind of. I was never a big shopper. I went to the parks across the street.
Oh, yeah.
There were like 3 schools.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely spent more time there than the
More
mall.
time on the playground. Okay, here's a weird circle round.
Yeah.
Back to Natalka Lewis.
Right.
How I know her is from selling shoes at Classique Dance and Activewear.
No way. When did you work at Classique?
I worked at Classique when Natalka worked at Classique.
When was that?
When I was teaching, so it would have been like 04, 05.
I would have been in there
06.
looking for thong shoes.
Yeah,
you know,
I was there with like Cindy. My best friend that I grew up with is Cindy's daughter. So Cindy gave me that job.
Yeah.
And so then I had danced a little bit as a girl, but like not really in a competitive way. I was a tapper and a jazz dancer, but I didn't get into ballet.
I could see you tapping.
never tapped.
Like that music video with the Bumblebee Tap Girl.
Oh my God, yes.
What song is that?
No Rain.
All I can say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Blind Melon. Yeah. And So I fit point shoes for several years working for Cindy, even though I never danced on point.
That's a job.
Weird.
Full circle.
Our teacher, Miss Joe, would come to our first point shoe fitting.
We had a lot of teachers who did that, and we always felt that those dancers were going to be in a safer environment.
Yeah.
If they had the teacher come and help them.
Because she knew.
Yeah.
And she would like guide us, and I'd be like, I don't know.
We also we wouldn't fit people under 12, but there were a few studios that would try and send littler children to get up on point, and we would say we weren't going to do it.
Your ankles aren't ready.
But it's
Are
hard.
your ankles ready?
Never.
No.
They're still not ready.
It's hard when now everything's online and people can just like
Order them.
and do it themselves.
To be fair, I just ordered Nash's tap shoes online.
Yeah.
Because we went to 2 or 3 locations
Yeah.
that didn't have
I know.
his type in stock, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I'm not ordering them and you're going to make me pay for them
Yeah.
when I can't try them on.
Yeah.
And then we went to Classique. Oh, is it still Classique down by Center Street in Glenmore?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a dance shop there. I can't remember if it's still Classic
I
or
don't
not. But
think
I
it's
think
Classic.
Cindy sold. So whoever it is, it's different than when I was working there. It's a different owner.
Yeah, so we couldn't get, and I didn't want to spend $150 on a 9-year-old's tap shoes.
Yeah.
Really? It's not for you?
It's just, I love him. I love him.
But next week they won't fit.
And next week's the recital.
Yeah.
So why am I buying shoes for him, like this was maybe a month ago,
Yeah.
that are going to be outgrown by September?
Yeah.
100%.
No. So anyhow, I'm like, can we just try on that style of shoe and see what size he is? And they're like, we can't have you try on unless you're going to buy the shoe. I'm like, we're going to buy the shoe.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
You won't let us, you don't have the size we want in the shoe we want.
Yeah.
And now you won't let us try on the shoe we want because you don't think we're going to buy it?
Yeah.
Or like, not that we want, but the shoe so we can get the size.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we end up getting the size. I order them online. They are not the right size because this size online is like almost adults or something. And there's a weird discrepancy.
Yeah.
And so then I end up ordering a pair, sending him back, ordering the smaller pair, sending him back, ordering a small pair. So now he says they fit. I don't even know.
See, people say online shopping is the way to go. It's easier. It's more convenient. I'm like, yeah, until you put an order and nothing fits. And you're
Yeah.
like, hey, what if you don't have a printer? How are you supposed to print the shipping label?
Yeah.
Send it back.
Yeah.
It's like more arduous.
Yeah.
And just
Totally
like,
is.
but also I don't want to go into a mall.
But if you know exactly what you want, like my tripod. I got my tripod.
Sure.
I knew I needed a tripod. I go online. It's delivered the next day.
Sure.
It's there. But yes, I do. And
There's moments.
Clothing I will never.
No.
No.
Shoes,
no.
yeah.
Roulette.
Ugh, I say
Shoes
that.
are roulette.
And that's the thing. Like my sister was looking for she got a new raincoat and from her husband and it didn't fit. So she wanted to like replace it at the store that he bought it from. So she goes, they don't have the size. And the salespeople are like, you can just order it online. And she's like, I need to try it on.
Yeah, and isn't it your job to have things in
Yeah.
stock in a store so I
Yeah.
can try it on?
I just need to try it on. And they're like, well, we can just order it in for you. And she's like, and again, that's not helping me.
want it
And we
now.
kept running into that at the mall and I was just like, wow, it's one of those things like if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. And if we don't use stores,
yeah.
we're gonna lose them because it doesn't make sense for them to get in
Anything.
a bunch of stock if they're not gonna sell it. So then they don't get in enough stock. So then we don't buy it because they
Yeah.
don't have our size. So then we're not using the store.
It doesn't make sense to
It's
have
a
a store.
mess. Yeah.
And then that's the overhead,
And
right?
then, yeah,
But
then
then
they're
it's like,
gone.
what if I just need to go out and buy some shirts I don't know what they are and I
Yeah.
need to try them on?
I just need to go and try it on.
But like, okay, so I have a store that I love. I love Anthropologie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so if they do have shoes on sale, like, sometimes, they have like a 50% off sale or something like that, I'll risk it
yeah.
because I know that I'll love these shoes.
Yeah.
And, or like, certain brands of jeans that I just know that brand fits
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Or that style or whatever, then I'm not going to go around the city trying to find that specific style when I
Yeah.
just need that style right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I hear you and I feel you and I like the boutiques. Like I live close to 17th Avenue. I like to walk down and try on things
Yeah.
and,
Yeah.
I like to make sure that stuff's here because that's what makes it such a great neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like Luna Blue. I love
Oh,
Luna
I
Blue.
love Luna Blue.
Have you been there?
Luna
Have not.
Blue.
Oh, on 14th
Apparently I
Street.
need to go.
It's adorable.
Okay.
And the shoes are fabulous.
Wonderful shoes.
Yeah.
Wonderful jeans. They do a lot of really good like denim brands.
Okay.
I never
They're
try on their
lovely.
clothes there. I need to do this.
Just go for a try. You'll end up with
gonna do it.
something. Yeah.
I'm going to do
Yeah,
it.
it's a really nice shop. Yeah, little
that.
boutique. Right on 14th, where where that big beetle that's the spider?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right,
right there,
in that
close
little
there.
neck of the woods. Yeah.
Okay,
That
that's some
spider.
like thrifting because I want to check out some like
Yeah.
Oh,
for
yeah.
summer. Just hit the thrift
Peacock's
shop.
close to
Yeah.
here and salvage. I always actually, when I I consign my clothes. I do a salvage.
Yep, I did Peacock when I moved away. I had to like purge a bunch of stuff and was like, Peacock?
Yeah.
And when I went out of like corporate world into more like arts and dance world,
Yeah.
it's like total revamp.
Yeah.
This is the first time I've actually worn jeans in months.
I'm having like so many flashes of things I want to talk to you about.
I have important questions about consignment.
Sure.
So I've consigned a few things, and I feel like I've been actually scammed by the consignment store.
Yeah.
So we had some stuff from my grandma, some leather boots and a leather coat that we consigned. And then when we went back to like collect, they were like, oh no, someone just shoplifted them.
Come on.
And they didn't give us our money, but
That's
they didn't
your
have
job
the
to make
item.
sure they're not shoplifting.
Yeah. So I was like, oh. So then we were like reluctant. This is me and my sister, like reluctant to take stuff. So then I didn't use that company anymore.
No.
And then
I'm like enraged for you.
yeah, and then my other sister like got a whole bunch of stuff, and they were like, oh, it's all just like, they wouldn't take any of her stuff, and like she has nice clothes. So I was like, is it worth it to consign?
You got to find the consignment shop that likes your kind of clothes.
Okay.
Because there are different.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right? Whereas like I buy a lot of Anthropology clothes.
Yeah.
Or things like that. I like Paige jeans. Like those are nice brands. So Salvage takes that because they, and I've actually been in Salvage before.
Yeah.
When somebody else dropped off stuff and this woman got on the phone, she's like, hey, we have a new Gucci bag in.
Yeah.
It's your style. I know you're going to love it.
Yeah.
And it's right by Mount Royal. So I know that, you know what I mean? Like they have their
Right.
clientele that likes certain things.
Yeah.
So you have to find your consignment store
That matches your style.
that is your style.
Okay.
That would be like Danielle's is just over here too. They're more of like, we're going to do it by size and color.
Right.
You know what I
okay.
mean? Like, and that it's more jam packed,
okay, sure.
but they have so much more selection.
Yeah.
And then they're going to have different prices, right?
Right.
But the boots,
Yeah.
somebody has my stuff and somebody shoplifts it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if you bring in stuff, you've bought it, and somebody shoplifts it, that's your cost.
Yeah.
You brought this into your store, it's your
Yeah,
cost.
they-
If I don't
so-
get that back,
Yeah.
you're paying me for it.
So we felt swindled.
I think you were.
I think you were too.
I think we were swindled.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Yeah. So, thanks.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I shop consignment. Like I've been to Peacock lots of times. Like I love that shop. It's great.
Yeah.
They've got such good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, then, once bit, twice shy kind of thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've been wanting to have
get
that
that off your chest.
conversation with someone. Thank you.
And we both validate that that was a pretty
A weird thing to happen.
weird thing to happen.
Terrible.
Okay.
Terrible. Unfortunate.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Bad people.
So, how did you find New Zealand? How did you like it? And you were there at a terrible time.
I literally landed in New Zealand 2 weeks before the whole world like locked down.
Oh.
Yeah, March 2020.
No. Wait a
March 2020.
How do you feel about that?
I'm
Like,
worried for you.
The first week I was like, wow, this is amazing. Everyone's so friendly. I feel part of the culture. This is going to be great. Some weird stuff's happening in other places, but we're good. We're
We're
here.
an island.
Island vibe.
And New
Total
Zealand
shutdown.
lockdown.
Lockdown.
Like you're not going in or out.
Like you can. Sorry, they had
I said in or out. I'm
in or out.
sorry.
I know I wasn't in or
Distracting.
out. They had this thing where you could walk around your neighborhood, right? You were
Yeah.
allowed to just,
Oh,
get
that's
up
good.
and spread your legs.
Yeah.
Is what
that what they
that
said?
was literally what he said on one of the announcements. Instead of saying stretch your legs, New
Yeah.
Zealanders, Kiwis, go out and stretch
spread your legs.
Just go out and spread your legs. And then he caught it and was like,
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
that's
Amazing.
funny.
I said that and kept like
And
that
feel free to
public
do that
announcement.
too.
Yeah.
Feel free. Feel free. Whatever you need to do to get through this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a challenge. It was a challenging time, but it was also amazing, like in its own way.
Yeah.
New Zealand's a beautiful country.
It's so beautiful.
So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the people I met. It was very diverse and multicultural, and I connected with the capoeira community over there. So
Explain what this is.
capoeira is a Brazilian martial art that I train in as well.
And it's like dancing.
It's like a dance.
Yeah.
It's a dance martial art. It's very connected to like Brazilian roots and ancestry and music. So everything is kind of centered around the music
Yeah.
and movement and dance and singing and martial arts. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
super cool. So yeah, New Zealand was incredible. I'd love to go back.
I went to
Love to
New
go back.
Zealand in 2001, 2002. I was working on a cruise ship with my ex-husband, who was my boyfriend at the time. He was an art auctioneer on cruise ships.
Oh.
Okay.
I always wondered why he was doing that. I didn't know if he was a dancer too somehow.
He just
or
kind of hung
something.
out.
Yeah.
You know, he just was in the corners.
Yeah. Lurking around.
Lurking in the
Lurking
corners,
at-
watching the
looking at
dancers.
paintings. Yeah.
Looking at art. What am I, smart?
Yeah. Come
Yeah.
over here.
Yeah.
Cruise ships need those people.
Yeah,
I
they
think.
do.
They should hire some
Yeah.
shady people for the corners.
Absolutely.
So I was dancing on the Imagination, which was like my second cruise ship.
Mm.
And that was like my bestest friends.
Great.
Shout out to Emma White in England. Love you. Anyhow, so nobody had like boyfriends or anything. We were very much like girls rule. Let's go have fun and do all this stuff. And we'd hang out with guys, but we were just like, we're not spreading.
We're not spreading.
We're not letting you in.
Yeah.
So, so we had so much fun. And then Peter came on as an art auctioneer, and Sergio was this bartender. And we kind of like, I connected with Peter and she connected with Sergio at the same kind of time-ish,
Yeah.
where we didn't notice that the other one was connecting with this other person because we
Yeah.
were having our own thing. And then I saw her once and we were dancing, and there's this part where the stage kind of turns around during a Beach Boys thing, and she just kept dancing. And I was like, you're in love. And she's like, what? And I'm like, oh my God, you're in love. And she was like totally like, she bolted off the stage to go get changed in her next costume. I'm like, how did I miss Emma falling in love?
Yeah.
And anyhow, so then he was an art auctioneer on that ship, and he had to go. His contract ended before mine, but he stuck around in Miami for a bit, and we'd see each other when I was in port and stuff. And then he came to Calgary for Christmas and met my family. And then he's like, I'd like you to come to England and meet my family. And so I was like, booked that. And when we were in England, he got a contract to go to Australia as an art auctioneer, and he asked me if I wanted to come as his assistant.
Oh, cool.
And I said I would, but you have to pay me because I'm not dancing to do this. So I'm not going to not dance and not continue with my career if I'm not being paid. So he's like, yeah, I'll pay you this much a week, blah, blah, blah. So our route there, we were in Durham, England. We drove to Manchester, flew to Amsterdam, flew to Minneapolis, went to Calgary.
Yo.
Then we spent 17 hours in Calgary where I could change my clothes out, see my family, have dinner. We flew to LAX, which was so fun.
Oh, LAX is nuts.
So fun. And all the way to Sydney from LAX, where I was on the plane for the last hour, and they gave you like an omelet with chives and green peppers in it. And I ate it, and then I just felt like I was gonna vomit for the last hour. Ugh. So we get off that, we get on to like the shuttle to take us to the ship. We get on the ship, we get into our room, I pass out. I wake up, I'm like, did you do the inventory? He's like, yeah, 2 days ago. 2 days ago, I've done the welcome aboard show. I've done the first whatever. We have a show tomorrow, so I was gonna wake you up, but you seemed like you needed to sleep.
Yeah.
And so that was it. So
You slept for 2 days.
I slept for 2 days. So I missed Sydney, and I missed the day at sea. And then Melbourne, I remember, and then Tasmania was cool. And then we did 6 ports in New Zealand.
Yo.
And this was so cool because we were passenger status.
Oh, yeah.
So we got to eat with all the passengers because we have to schmooze them, like, get to
Right,
know them.
right.
These are, it was like a sea of white hair, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because this is a $30,000 cruise
Oh, my goodness.
to go from Sydney. I think if you did the whole thing, it was 60,000. But if you did from Sydney to Tasmania, up New Zealand to the South Pacific, we did Bora Bora, Tahiti,
Yeah.
Moorea,
Oh, wow.
up to Hawaii. That was, I don't know if it was
Wow.
30 or 60,000, but it per person, per cabin, right?
Yeah.
You had to have at least 2 people in a cabin.
Yeah.
So we got to schmooze with these people and do all this stuff and eat all this food. And I gained so much weight because I wasn't dancing.
Right.
And I was eating all the food.
And it's like rich
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
those cruise ships.
But I loved, like, we went to Dunedin, we went to Wellington.
Ah, see, you saw way more than I did, and I lived there for 2.5 years. So.
Oh,
There you
were
go.
you in Auckland?
Yeah.
My favorite thing of Auckland was the lights would change, and all of a sudden, like a whole crowd of people would just run in every direction across the street. It was the first time I'd ever seen that.
Oh,
Like down
yeah.
at Eau Claire,
Yes.
here we do that
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
It was the first time I'd ever seen that, and I was just like, "What's happening? Where can we?
Yeah.
We can just cross that diagonally. We don't have to
Yeah.
go this way and then that way."
The diagonal's great. Loved it. I've tried to do
Yeah.
it here. It's not the same.
Yeah, you can do it down in Eau Claire if you want.
There you go.
If you want to feel like you're back.
Back there.
So, did you
It's
get
awesome.
a chance to experience it near the end?
Yeah, a little bit. So we had moments where it opened up. So I mean, I did go to Piha, and like I just explored a lot of the North Island.
Yeah.
So Waiheke, and I went all the way up to Kirikiri, which
Did you Bay
is
of
beautiful.
Islands?
Bay of Islands, no.
Okay.
Nope, didn't quite make it out there. Went to Raglan, which is like a really cool like surfer vibe. Attempted to surf.
Sounds like at Raglan, where we just wear rags.
Just rags.
Yeah.
Just hippie rags.
Yeah.
That's all you do.
And so you didn't surf?
I tried. Attempts were made.
And? Did it hurt?
You know when you look in the washing machine and you're like, I wonder what it's like,
Okay.
what it feels like inside
Yes.
the washing machine. Like I wonder
Yeah.
what my clothes are experiencing right now.
Okay.
Every time I'm like, my poor clothes, I love it so much.
Yeah.
Sorry to put you through
It
this.
felt what you would think that would feel like.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Ugh.
Oh, wow.
Because they had really aggressive turnover waves.
Yeah.
And well, once you get under,
Yeah. I did
just
this in Maui.
See, Maui.
No, not Maui, sorry.
I've done it in Oahu. I surfed in
Malibu.
Oahu.
Malibu, where's it?
And it was successful. I,
Yeah.
like, could ride.
Yeah.
Very calm.
Oh,
Oh,
cool.
that's fun.
Raglan, not so much.
Yeah, my kids taught themselves to surf in Costa Rica this summer.
That's impressive.
They just got surfboards, and because
Intuitive.
they'd done boogie boarding in Tofino the summer before.
Yeah.
And so then they just kind of watched people, and they're like, "We're gonna rent a board." I'm like, "Cool, you guys rent it. I'm not part of this." And so they did it. It was like boogie boarding, then they jumped on and they went.
Cool.
But-
I mean, it is fun. I tried. I thought it's my snowboarding background would help me.
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah. Does it not?
A little bit.
Feet
The
placement,
balance, the foot placement.
Yeah.
But it's just, the water is moving.
Yeah.
It's very different.
The
Yeah,
mountain
yeah.
doesn't move.
The
on
mountains
you.
don't,
that.
they don't move.
No.
They don't move.
Look, it's
I'm
still
not
there.
good
Still
at
there.
sports where things are attached to my feet. Like I'm not,
Skating.
I can't skate, I
roller
can't ski, I
skating.
can't roller skate, I can't rollerblade. I'm not a snowboarder. Like anything where something is attached to my feet,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not intuitive to that. I don't like going faster than I
Snorkeling.
can go. I can snorkel.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
but yeah, I can't. If I feel like I'm picking up speed, I panic.
Yeah.
And I can tap dance. Like I do. I love tap dancing. But
I like how that's a sport where
and
something's
that's-
attached to your
it
feet.
is. You need special footwear for it.
You do.
You do
Yeah.
require special
You
footwear.
do.
Yeah.
You just glue the taps to the bottom
Yeah.
of your toes, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So I love that. But yeah, I have never even thought of surfing because I thought like that's if I'm this bad
Yeah.
at any of this other stuff, there's no way.
Okay, so when I was 17, I went down to LA to dance with a group of us. There were 5 of us. Do you know Marie Christine Julian? Do you know Sabrina Phillips?
Yep.
Okay, so she came with us. And anyhow, so there were 5 of us. And Marie Christine is half black or half Egyptian, half Filipino.
Oh yeah, okay.
So she was Scary Spice.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a
Naturally.
Scary Spice. I don't even know who I was because I didn't really care. But anyhow, blah, blah, blah.
Posh.
So we go down there. We meet these guys from Chicago in our apartment complex that we're staying at. And they're all over 21. So they get us drinks. And we can drink at night. And then we go to the edge and dance all day.
Okay.
And one day they're like, hey, let's go surfing. Let's go for a Jeep ride, whatever. So we get in the Jeep. We go. He takes us to Malibu. We stop at McDonald's on the way. We get these trays. We go to the beach in Malibu. We are going to boogie board with McDonald's trays.
Oh my God.
And
Yes.
as we've discussed, I am not an ocean. Like I love the ocean. I love it, but I don't know it.
Yeah.
Right? So we go out into Malibu. We go out into the water, and I've got this boogie board tray. And we're going along, and this wave's coming. So I'm like, cool, cool. And I almost was like a lifeguard. Like I feel like I'm a confident swimmer.
Yeah.
We go, blah, blah, blah. Boom, I'm in a wave.
Right.
And I am spinning, and I am spinning. And I'm like thinking, I've been under here forever. And nobody will know. And how am I getting out of here? So I'm spinning. And I remember from swimming classes, whatever, training, whatever. What do you call it? Swim
Yeah, swimming
Lessons?
lessons.
Lesson?
Yeah.
bubbles, right? So I just start like blowing bubbles and I start watching them and I'm like, that's up. And I hit the ground at the weirdest angle. And I'm like, that's up. And I just push off and go up. And I cough and choke and whatever. No one saw me. And everyone's
What?
way over there. And I'm like, that just terrified me. So
Yeah.
at 17, I'm terrified
Yeah.
of being caught in like the waves and whatever.
Yeah, the riptide.
And so even in Costa Rica, where it was like pretty chill, like we were by Uvita, which is like very surfer, very chill area. And my kids are surfing and I was like, I need to watch every second of this. But it was good and it wasn't scary. And I ended up boogie boarding on the surfboard. And I was like, it's so fun.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was, I couldn't do it in Tofino because it's too cold.
Yeah.
Oh,
Tofino's
yeah,
cold.
no.
Yeah.
No.
Freezing.
We at U of L, same thing, stole the cafeteria trays to use as toboggans.
That makes more
that's
sense,
exactly
right?
where my brain went. I'm
Yeah.
like, I've done that.
So it makes
Toboggan
me
makes
wonder,
sense.
like, what other sports can you use a cafeteria tray for, right? It makes a hell of a toboggan, I'll tell you that. We
Oh, it
were
would be
tobogganing the
great.
Oh,
coolies.
yeah.
Because the coolies have, like, the cactuses and shrubs and, like, all sorts of stuff. Like, it's not just grass, but you can't see it because it's under the snow.
Oh my
So,
God, can you imagine tobogganing or sliding over a cactus?
well, if you're on a cafeteria tray, you're perfectly safe.
Totally protected.
Perfectly safe. Perfectly. There's
For that and some bicycle
There's a
shorts.
barrier there.
I remember my roommate going down in front of me, and so she's just like kind of making the path, and this enormous shrub like popped up from underneath her, like and I was just like, oh yeah, okay, well here we go.
It's like a video game.
Yeah, it was so
200
funny.
points.
Yeah.
I literally just had that song in my head.
When you say video games, I'm sorry. I just see Super Mario Brothers, okay?
When she arrived today, I
Literally.
was like, Mario Brothers is stuck in my head. I don't know why.
Get out of my head.
Yeah.
Get out of my head.
What's happening? We're all on the same cycle
Yes,
probably right now too.
yes.
We're all synced up already like that.
Yeah, very good.
Oh.
Yes. Okay, here's an important then video game question.
Ooh.
Have you played VR? Any kind of VR games?
I haven't. I've actually
Hmm.
I don't play video games.
Mm-hmm.
If I do, like if I take my kids to the rec room,
Yeah.
I'll play video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will be terrible and I will scream.
Yeah.
Because I get so, I think COVID messed me up with my ability to silence myself.
Oh, okay.
Like at hockey games, soccer games,
Yes,
something's
yeah.
happening, I will like be like, ah! Like I will like
Yeah.
just be like, ah! Like to
Yeah.
myself, and then we'll score. It'll be like something's happening that's exciting, but I will
Yeah,
scream
you're
out loud.
screaming out loud,
And
yeah.
it's not like a go or we got this. It's just a
Sounds.
scream.
Just, yeah.
And so I will do this at the rec
Yeah.
room. Even if somebody else is playing, like Kate was playing Pink Panther, we're
Yeah.
gonna steal stuff and get away from the
Yeah,
laser.
yeah.
And the laser's coming down. And then I started screaming. And then he died.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh my God, that was so exciting. He's like, Mom, stop screaming. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But have you
I
done
mean,
VR?
not really video games. I was on a project where they were exploring how to use VR in choreography, actually,
cool.
at the
Ooh.
university in the dance program.
Yeah.
So like, you were like, I was one of the dancers, and I was like covered with those little like motion capture sensors,
Oh, yeah.
and I was like doing movement, and then they were capturing it on a screen
Yeah.
while I was wearing a VR,
Right.
and I
cool.
kind of felt like I was in
Because you could see
Yeah.
the video
yourself.
game.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
it.
yeah.
So I'm like, I'm a dancing video game dancer. It's
Yeah.
wildly cool and
That's
kind of
really
disorienting.
cool.
Like you come
Oh,
out of it and
yeah.
you're like,
Ah.
It is really weird.
right, okay, I have a bot. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
we're here.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Okay.
I'm also not a video game person.
Yeah.
But Ollie got a like VR kit, and so he was like, well, let's play this game. So we got this game where like you basically just, the villains are made of glass and you have to just smash them. And so we were playing this game and I lost myself in the VR. Like I had maybe been in it for maybe 15 minutes of
Yeah.
playing this game. And I had the like hand thing and I just actually threw it at the TV.
You.
So then
I would do this.
yeah, so I threw, so then I would like,
came out.
I like confiscated myself from the game. I was like, you're not allowed to play anymore. Like you have clearly lost it. So I was like, it's your turn. So he's like, okay. So he starts playing and he's like punching these guys and I'm sitting on the couch kind of beside him and he just like grazes my forehead with like a punch like this way because So I was like, so then he's like, okay, I have to confiscate myself from the game. So it was so funny. We both like, he punched my face and I smashed his TV. We're like just like two old people.
People
I
are
mean,
going to be
two
hearing
darn
you.
old people. Yeah.
They're going to hear you like neighbors and stuff
Yeah.
and think there's a domestic.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened. Remember when the Wii's first came out?
Oh,
Yes.
I
And
loved
And then they had
it.
to add the wrist attachment. They're like,
Yes.
please use the wrist attachment.
Yes.
And we're like, there's no way people at
It's
will actually do
easy.
this.
It's
Oh,
easy to do.
actually have
I
It's-
loved the sports Wii. We never
Yeah.
really bought a lot of the games, but we had that when the kids were little because my
Okay.
parents were like, they have everything. What are we going to get them? And I was
Yeah.
like, don't get us video games. And they're like, what about a Wii? I'm like,
Okay.
ugh,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But we loved the tennis and the bowling and the
Yeah.
golf. But and it was kind of fun because we could all do it together.
Yeah.
Because I feel like VR, that's so isolating.
Well, if you're to get like you can
Because you can both be in it.
you can both be in it,
Yeah.
but he just has one headset. But it's fun to be witness to each other. And you really shouldn't do it by yourself, or else you will go crashing through your TV and punch through your wall.
Because if you are places that's just
Yeah.
a bare room.
Yeah.
So you can't damage.
Yeah. So, but if you've got this set up in your living room, like you're tangled up in your bookshelf, you're knocking over plants.
You're going to have to get a VR room.
Yeah.
Just padded and everything.
Just pat it.
Yeah.
Secure space.
The boys go on hockey tournaments every year, right? And usually the parents go off when we have drinks and stuff like this. And the kids, they go to a room and they play video games. And maybe somebody brings a guitar or something like this. Well, they bring VR things now.
Right.
Do you know what they watch on VR?
No.
Yes. Because Jace once was like,
As a group?
not as a group,
Oh.
but one guy will watch porn with all the other guys in the room.
But that's what I mean. You're not alone. You're in
not
the
alone.
company of.
And he'll be like
Your
talking
bros.
about it and explaining it and stuff like this. And I'm like, I don't understand how this is like, I know it's different and it's something like, what's happening? What are we doing? But I'm like, this is a mess.
Yeah, that's a mess.
It's a mess. So what's your practice like, your dance practice?
Oh gosh.
No, sorry, we're back.
We're
And
getting
we're at
back
that
into.
time. We're at that
Circling back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Well, right now I'm teaching a lot, doing a lot of choreography in studios still. But my dance practice and what I'm really passionate about is the dance therapy side of things, the somatic work, and creating spaces for people to move authentically.
Right.
And I do eventually want to bring that into choreograph works, where I'm working with artists and dancers from all different types of backgrounds and creating authentic pieces that make people basically heal through movement, shared movement expression.
Yeah.
So building.
And so is there
Building.
training for these dancers or is it just tapping into something?
Yeah, it's just unfolding right now.
Oh, you mean your practice?
Yeah, the
I meant like
practice is
as a
unfolding.
dancer that
Oh,
would
as
be
me as a
in
dancer.
this. Or like, let's say you're getting a group together to do this dancing that is also therapy.
Yeah.
What kind of background do they have to have?
Honestly, at this point, some level of like emotional maturity. So older dancers.
Right.
You know, there's such like a type, okay, this is the age in which you can have a dance career. It's like, well, what about when you're older and more mature? Your body may not move in the same way that is so aesthetically and like visually incredible, which as you get older, like is kind of identity disorienting. You're like, wow, I can't do any of these things or my body's broken the next 5 weeks.
That's me with jumping.
Cool.
Like jumping. I want to be able to jump again.
But you
I
still have
can't.
so much that you want to express. Like
Yeah.
growing up in that world, like you always have more to emote. And I feel like we also have an ability to emote on behalf of people who maybe cannot or are limited or haven't found their expression. Seeing someone else move the way you would love to move could provide a container for that. So I think a certain level of like performative experience. Full stop. Doesn't matter what performative genre that is, but are you comfortable being on stage and being, you know,
Expressing this.
Yeah.
and then building that like camaraderie with each other to be able to support whatever way that the performance may need to unfold based on what people are feeling in the moment. That unlocked so many more outlets that I needed to express. I was like, oh, there's parts of me that have been like shut off because of trauma or because of limiting beliefs or I don't move like that or whatnot. So that was an opportunity in finding different movement expressions and authentic movement to be like, oh, there's so much more to me.
Yeah.
As a
What do you
dancer.
mean by like authentic movement? Are you meaning like not so what's the word? Like not trapped, but like by technique. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or like more pedestrian.
And like it does stem from a practice. Like it's kind of a very, there's a codified way of practicing it. I use it more liberally. That is basically you're following intuitive impulse.
Okay.
So does your body have an urge right now? Do it.
Yeah.
What does that lead to?
Ooh.
Where is it coming from?
Uh,
You know, like,
Yeah.
do you want to shimmy or do you want to like just flick something off or do you want to like punch a pillow? Like what is the impulse? Do you just want to breathe? Do you want to lay on the floor? Like, and then building your choreography from that impulse.
Right.
Mhm.
I feel like because I don't dance anymore, like since COVID, I don't dance. But it's like if I ever feel, sometimes I can intake so much that I need to export something, and then I'll put on some music and I will just dance in my kitchen, and I will like spin and dance, blah, and I will just be like, it's like throwing up through dancing.
It's pretty much authentic expression.
Yeah.
You know, it's that movement. It's you allowing your brain to quiet, your mind to quiet, and your body to just take over. It needs a release. It needs to exhale.
Yeah.
So what is that exhale? And the whole practice is evolving that into doing it in a space where you are now witnessed. Someone is seeing you. Someone is experiencing that with you.
Yeah.
Which can be really healing.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love you.
Aww.
I love you too. I think that's the end of this one, and I think we deserve a hug.
Yay!
Oh, love you guys.